That's just sports, baby.
Crowd goes wild. Strawberry ice, bringing fire and style. Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, all in my zone. This is my stage, my mic, my throne. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy slide is kicking down the door. Step into the ring where the passion ignites. Talking sports all day and all night. From the field to the court to the roaring stands. Strawberry ice with the world in my hands. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy slide is kicking down the door.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It has been hot. It's going to get hot. It's nice and cool today. But you know what? You don't want to cut your grass anymore. You don't want to trim your bushes or put that mulch down or I don't know, if you want to put some gravel down or retaining wall or I don't know, anything. And I mean anything. Lawn and landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Actually, don't think it. Call them at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. They give free estimates, and you can check them out on Facebook. That's a good one, too, because, you know, you always see pictures and videos of their work. But when you call Johnny, tell him you heard about from Sports with Strawberry Ice. What is up to everybody in the chat? We got Stranger in there. We got Brandon in there. Mike Madden. Shakely from South Carolina is in there. And Lindsay, what's going on? All right, so let's get to the news of the day first. The Reds won 3-2. Kind of a little scary there at the ninth inning. Pagan. But you guys, if you're watching the game, the guy, I don't remember who the batter was, but the second out, I thought he hit it out. And I'm like, oh, great. They just tied the game up. I think if you saw Pagan's reaction, he put his head down like, oh, my goodness. He thought it was going to. Luckily, the left fielder caught it. Jake Fraley caught it. And Pagan went on and got the ground out to second base. And the Reds won. They are on their way to Bristol for the Speedway Series. It is going to be the largest crowd in Major League Baseball history. And the people are sitting in the way up at the top. If you guys, I'm old. If you guys remember Bob Uecker, I mean, those are Uecker seats. You're way, way, way up there. But either way, the Reds are in this. I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy that they added to the team. It's not the way I wanted them to, but we gave up nothing, got some players, and hopefully it helps. Bengals did not practice today. They are back at it tomorrow night inside the stadium. I will not be there. I have a family reunion that I don't have to go to. I want to go to because I go see my family. I haven't seen that part of my family very much, but I hope you guys are going and enjoy it and have a great time there. Will the Bengals sign a guard? I don't know. They sign tight end. If they sign a guard, I really think this really tops off this offseason. Other news than Bengals Nation, Who Dey Nation, I love you guys. Micah Parsons, and I hope I'm wrong. I promise you I hope I'm wrong. Micah Parsons is not going to be a Bengal. There is no way that they are trading him. Joe Farsi, my co-host on Tuesday, said, how about Trey and a first-round pick? And he said, who would say no to that? I said, the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to be wrong. Sure, hey, I'll take Micah Parsons. But I know we tend to take off and run with things. Anyway, with that being said, let's get to my guest for today. He does a great job on A to Z Sports. You can also check him out on the Jungle Podcast, Cincy Jungle Podcast. Get that right, with the Godfather, Anthony Kazinza. But this time we have the brain, John Sheeran. What's up, John?
How's it going, guys? Well, not guys, just one guy, just one Jeff,
guy. Yeah,
one Iceman.
Trags might be joining us later. He said he'd try, but he's covering the Reds and everything, so he might jump on a little bit. Maybe he's not, but we got you today, so I appreciate having you on here. So just real quick, what does Micah Parsons think? Can you put this to rest? Do you think he's going to be a Bengal?
Do I have to say it?
Well, people on Twitter are acting like it's a possibility.
This is. I was surprised to learn that Jerry Jones is only 82. So I think Dallas has like at least 10, maybe 15, 20 more years of him just trying to make his own economy in July and August, because that's just what he prioritizes, just attention, hit chances for him to talk like it's still the 1950s and 60s. No, Micah Parsons will be a Dallas Cowboy. Whether or not he plays for them this year, I don't know, but he will be under contract with them. He's not getting traded.
Yeah, I don't. This is all posturing. Micah Parsons is going to sign with the Dallas Cowboys. They do this every year. I mean, they were going to trade Dax not that long ago. That was going to be a thing. I don't know. I mean, people always give the Bengals crap about how they handle contracts. I think Jerry Jones handles them way worse than the Bengals do, to be honest. I mean, he literally makes a circus of it. So take that for what it's worth.
It's birds of a feather, but by the way, it's like the Cowboys are essentially the AFC's Bengals because they're just behind the times in a lot of ways. But it was very funny seeing that. Oh yeah, the Cowboys and Jerry Jones specifically wants to bypass David Mulligetta in negotiations. Like, damn, that sounds familiar.
You're right, exactly. Where have we heard that from before? All right, so one thing I did not get to talk about too much yesterday with the Noah Fant news and different things like that. But the Bengals and the city actually did come to an agreement with the contract for the stadium. The Bengals will be here for the next 11 years. I kept telling everybody, I said, I don't think the Bengals are going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be fine. What's your thoughts on the contract, what they signed, and going forward? Just give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, this was agreed upon last month, and then they gave themselves a new deadline for another month to just iron out the details. And I guess it was supposed to be done yesterday. And then there were still like a couple of details here and there that they still needed to figure out. So my initial thought was, man, they could just make this deadline whenever they want, because I thought it was supposed to be July 30 or June 30th. And I guess the agreement allowed them to push that deadline back, but they could have done it, I guess, another week or so. So, I mean, the deadlines are kind of arbitrary, but yeah, this was always going to happen because they voted 2-1 for it. I think the one wasn't like against, it was just like abstain, which is essentially just against it. But it's still confusing to me how like it's $470 million in renovations and $120 million are coming from the Bengals, and yet 75% of the improvements are also coming from the Bengals, which the math doesn't math for me, but that's because I don't know all the details of the contract. But I do think that for all the things that I think people wish the Bengals did, I do think it's definitely within their best interest and within the city's best interest to not have this be a multi-billion-dollar new stadium makeover, everything. I don't think anyone in the city necessarily wants that. I think Paycor Stadium, the location, the layout, it all fits what the city and the county wants. And I think just building off of that, making it better, making it look less like a concrete prison inside, I think all of that was in their best interest. So I think this was a really good deal, and it's good to see the county and the Bengals work in a more amicable way as opposed to what it was 28 years ago.
Yeah. They so it's an 11-year deal. From what I heard, they pay $1 million in rent the first 2 years, and it's $2 million in rent after that. But the good thing for the city is they can rent it out when the Bengals aren't using it. Before, I think they had to get the Bengals permission. So hopefully we can get more concerts. And hey, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I'm for let's get WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something here. Or hell, this would be the NFL. But I want the NFL draft here. That's the next thing as far as the NFL goes here. I want to get the draft. That would be awesome. But it's cool to see what happens. And like I said, I was never really worried that the Bengals were going anywhere. I don't really think the Brown family wants to leave. And like I said, the stadium is in the perfect spot. The way they've just done this from when I grew up as a kid, Riverfront Stadium. I mean, I love Riverfront Stadium, but there was nothing around there. It was nothing. There was nothing to do. They got the banks in between there. They finally got rid of the Hilltop concrete place. So that's gone now. They're going to do some more things there. The practice facility, the graphics I've seen is awesome looking. One thing I don't like is they're going to cover up the bridge, so I can't watch practice. Is the pictures that I've seen. You looking at me like I'm crazy. Remember, you have not seen those pictures?
Were those from like last year? It was like last September or something like that.
Yeah, it was earlier this year, I think.
Yeah, I saw some renderings of what, because like this started off being like a $1.2 billion deal, and then
Yeah.
it went down to like 800. And it was like when it was in the 1.2 range, they were talking about having a new indoor facility and rearranging the practice fields. Like I remember those renderings. I don't remember any updated renderings about what a new practice.
Well, those are the ones I'm
like.
talking about. I haven't seen any
Okay.
updated ones. Yeah, I don't. They've always said that was a temporary indoor practice facility, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'd leave it where it is. I mean, I do understand where they've talked about, and I wanted to upgrade the practice facility itself. I don't know. Like I said, this is all renderings back in January or March or whatever. Now, so those all look nice, but like I said, I don't like it that they block the bridge. Like that's I take full credit for this, by the way, because you can't video up there during practice or anything. That's fully on me. So I call it the ice rule.
You know something, like I went to practice Wednesday, and so like anyone who's been to practice before, they have 3 fields. The bleachers are behind 2 of them.
Yep.
And typically, at least in years past, they would always have, when they put the pads on, they would run through like 11 on 11. It was always on the middle field, so it was closest to the bleachers. I think this year they started just doing it closest to the stadium, because that's where all the media reporters, the media is located. And yeah, it's basically kind of pointless now watching 11 on 11 from like 2 fields away if you're in the bleachers. So I don't know if I'm going to go back down to training camp unless I'm credentialed, which I don't think is happening. In the
I would love to be. The funny thing is, I go down there, people ask me, like, why are you standing here? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, aren't you supposed to be over there with those guys? I'm like, I would love to be, but no, I don't have any credentials. I mean, it's like people DM me and they're like, because what was it? Thursday it got rained out. And people DM me like, hey, when are we going to find out if it's rained out? I'm going, I guess when they tell you. I don't know. I love it. Everybody thinks I have inside information and I'm credentialed, but I am not. I wish I would be. Hey, Bengals, if you want to credential me and John, we'll be glad. We'll take you up on that. But yeah, it's hard to watch it sometimes. Sometimes they switch it back and forth. I've been there every day. So sometimes it is on the field closest to the stands. And usually if it is, where I've been standing, they have a wall of humans and they're going away from me. So I'm like, daggone it. I can't fit you that stuff. But let's get into training camp here. What's your thoughts on what you've seen at training camp? Shamar Stewart, the defense, offense line. Just pick a topic there, John. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of takes on the offensive line because it was hard to see a lot of like their individual work. I think with Stewart though, it is something to see him in person, get off the line. Big dude, but also extremely quick, extremely explosive, a lot more flexible in terms of his bend than I thought as well. I saw him go through the classic ball and a stick hoop drill, right? So they had to go around the hoop. He moved in a way that was unlike anyone else practicing. Like Trey is obviously really good at that as well. And it was cool seeing him give Shamar some pointers, and that's going to continue, I think, for as long as his hold in is progressing now. But Shamar is very impressive up close. Obviously, he's got miles, a marathon to go in terms of putting it all together, and that will come in time. But it is very exciting to see his movement ability, his explosion, his power kind of on display, albeit in a very limited sense. It was a little scary when he got himself into the backfield and I think almost destroyed Desmond Ridder, and he had to remember that he can't touch the quarterback. So you just got to rein him back, but also let him loose and let him make the mistakes, because that is definitely important. But obviously the takeaway right now is, it seems like the defense is getting really comfortable playing against this offense, and that is to be expected when you're going up against the same team for days on end and eventually weeks. Eventually the defense is going to be very confident in what to expect, and it's good that Burrow is trying to push some of these throws into these tight windows, especially in the low red zone area where there's not a lot of space for these guys to run around. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are going to do Jamar Chase and T. Higgins things, but I think, Jeff, like people are talking about the secondary, I think it's been very promising to see the ancillary receivers and Yoshi and even Burden, I think, really step into their own and look a lot more like a well-rounded options, which are so crucial because now that you have Jamar and T locked up everyone for the next 4 years, the game plan is just to take away those two guys. And it's just going to be about how well can your ancillary options step up. And the more that you can count on Yoshi and Burden to do that, obviously Burden's got a long way to go too, but he has impressed me as well in these one-on-one drills and just kind of meshing in the offense. He's got a nickname now from Burden or from Burrow now. He's calling him Maine. So the trust level seems to be a little bit there. So I was really impressed with some of these, ancillary receivers behind the two guys.
Exactly. I'm trying to message Trags here. Sorry. He just texted me. He said, "Want to know if I can send him a phone number link?" I can't. I don't have that ability here. Yeah. All right. He says he's probably gonna come on next week. That's fine. That's no big deal. He's a busy guy. I got it. So yeah, the thing that my biggest takeaway for the defense so far has been the secondary. I think they have looked really impressive. And like you said, they're going to get the same guys, but you're going against the elite. That's why I call Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the elite of the NFL, the best tandem in the NFL, I think. And they're going to get some every single day. And I think it's showing. We're going to see. I think the secondary cornerbacks specifically are going to be better than what people think. It seems like Al Golden's really given them the control, I guess, of a better way to say of the defense, and more owning it themselves. I'll put it that way. And I think that they've taken to that just in general of the whole defense. Have you seen a difference from the way Al Golden has done this compared to Lou and had more confidence in the defense?
I think the biggest example right now is Jordan Battle, who I think struggled a lot last year, not only like on the field, but also mentally because of how Von Bell coming back basically just destroyed his plan of starting. And I think it definitely impacted how he started camp and everything. I think he has kind of been revitalized, just kind of owning himself as this, guy who's now counted on as a starter who probably should have been starting since the beginning of last year, right? Like he came on so promising at the end of his rookie season, only to be kind of stashed away as this third safety in the defense that doesn't rotate safeties onto the field. So it seems like every single day he's making a play on the ball and he's letting the receivers know about it. And I think part of that, like you said, like they're taking ownership, but I think they're also feeling empowered that like it's finally their time to really step into their own. And like you said, like make this defense kind of in the shape and the identity of themselves. And you definitely need that type of edge. Like a defense is only as good as its back end. I think especially in today's NFL where the quarterbacks are getting the ball out so quickly now, and it's maybe not even matter how much pressure you can get with just four. Like you need guys that are on the same page and can limit explosive plays. And it seems like they got the pieces in place in the secondary. I think we still need to see a little bit in-game action from Geno Stone to see how he fits in this whole thing. But I think he's also taking the right steps as well. I'm really interested still in what this cornerback group looks like when week one rolls around. Where is Dax Hill lining up? Is Josh Newton starting? But everyone seems to be having pretty solid camps. DJ Turner, I guess, balled out the other day with like
five breakups. When we start getting worried about it, then all of a sudden, hey, hold my beer, watch this, and it breaks him up. Has 5 breakups in practice.
Even still, like even if he's not starting, because like I think he may still be like the most inconsistent of this quartet, if you will. That's a pretty solid fourth cornerback on the bench, and I think regardless of who is your starting 3, you're going to have a quality fourth guy that will obviously play snaps because they seem to always suffer injuries there.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Jordan Battle, I got to put this out there. I took a great video the other day, so you got to check this out. That's probably the best video I've taken ever. So I played it like 3 days in a row. Oh my god,
audio too.
That was actually pretty good. And thanks for the super sticker there, GC3. I think you were the first person to ever give me a super sticker. So I've often wondered what that would look like, and there it is. I'm not sure what the sticker is, but I appreciate it. So you guys can give me more super stickers, super chats, and that stuff. I appreciate all that. But yeah, I want to get back to Jordan Battle. Last year I think Von Bell coming in, it obviously it did stun him. Lou took way too long to bench Bell and start Battle, and that has stunted a lot of guys in this Bengals defense. Miles Murphy, I think he should have got more snaps. Joseph Asai should have got more snaps last year instead of Sam Hubbard, who was injured. I know no shade on Sam Hubbard, but he was injured and he wasn't as effective. And I understand. I've had multiple Bengal beat writers come on here and tell you, like, well, he didn't trust him. Like, well, he didn't trust him so much, and it got him fired. Because Al Golden's, to my knowledge, Al Golden's main goal or main reason to bring him in here is to develop these first and second round draft picks, which we haven't been able to develop really. We'll find out. I think we're really going to find out where Myles Murphy is this year because he's going to get snaps. He's getting more snaps now. Trey's not in camp, so that's more snaps for him. What's your thoughts on Myles Murphy? Will he have the breakout year we want him to, or do you think Shamar Stewart is going to pass him up?
I don't know if Shamar is going to pass him up. I think he's locked in for some type of a role within the top 3. I think right now, like it just seems like whenever Trey comes back, like Myles, his role is not going to be as large as he probably wants it to be. And I think part of that is because they're planning to start Osai at left defensive end. Like I think there's going to be changes to this front, but I don't know how much Trey is going to be moved around, if at all, because he was never moved around. He was always right defensive end. That's where Myles is practicing right now. And I think they're planning on Osai starting at left defensive end, and obviously he's going to be rotated, on and off the field. And I think they want to have a stable rotation of pass rushers, but it's important for Myles, I think, to be effective on both sides. I saw him rep at left defensive end with the 2s at least earlier this week, so there's some exposure there, and that's been the case for the past couple of years. But yeah, I would have Osai probably ahead of Murphy right now, but obviously that can change. And any takeaways that you have with the trenches at this point.
We're like a week and a half in the camp, so yeah.
Very early. So I don't know if I've seen enough to say like, oh yeah, Myles Murphy breakout is coming. It obviously would help. And I think, past, players in his shoes have kind of taken this time to do that. But I would kind of lean towards Osai making that jump compared to Murphy. But Murphy's still going to get chances as the third guy in this rotation for sure.
Well, and especially the way Osai closed out last year. I mean, I think he finally had a healthy season, and he got back to the way he was playing. I still remember the AFC Championship game in Burrowhead. Yeah, I still call it Burrowhead. Where he was awesome. I mean, he was the best, probably the best, if not the best, one of the best defensive players we had in that game up until everyone remembers where Patrick Mahomes threw himself up against the the stands there. But and Joseph injured himself there, so it's taken him a while to get back. And this is a proven year for him too, with the 1-year contract. So there's a very good chance that he's got David Mulligetta, which he's gonna, if he balls out, he's probably gonna go sign somewhere else because Mulligetta probably will give him as much money as he can. So I'm looking out for a good year for him. The other thing that I'm really excited, I've been waiting for this. I'm hoping this is the year we actually have it. Is that NASCAR package? When we have the 3rd and long situation, is getting Osai and Murphy and Stewart and Trey, however order you want to put it, getting those guys on the field at the same time and going after that quarterback. I think this is the year, hopefully, that can happen. Am I just wishing it for it to happen, John, or do you think that's a chance that they might get all those guys out there for the NASCAR package?
I think with a guy like Stewart, who you probably wouldn't expect to be like a consistent contributor until at least late in the season, maybe in that playoff push, I think early in the season, giving him pass rushing snaps as like a 3 technique where that he has power, that he loves a bull rush, right? Mm-hmm. Converting that speed to power is another thing, right? But guards aren't typically as, promising in pass protection. Case in point in Cincinnati. Yeah. That is a perfect way to get him some pressure and some pressure looks and just some exposure in some of those 3rd and longs or even 2nd and longs, and just letting him just go upfield and, set up the bull rush, maybe hit him with a little swim move here, a little spin move here, if you can develop those moves. And especially when you're in that kind of like that phone booth, guards aren't expecting it, don't mirror it as well. It is a good way for him to start developing some techniques as a pass rusher while also maximizing what he can do well, which again, he's just a ball of force. And it is tough to block that when you can't get under your pad. So if he can just capitalize on the leverage that he has with that power as a 3 technique in a pass rushing situation, that is a great example of him getting on the field. And also you have that playing next to Trey Hendrickson, you may not be able to double Trey. Like that is a perfect way to get him on the field early.
Exactly. Now, segue to the topic of the offseason and the season, year after year after year, the offensive line. Now, I say this defensive line has been looking pretty good. I preface that with, are they that good? Is our offensive line looking that bad? There's been Will Hernandez, who has come out and said that he's clear by the NFL to play. He's still out there. Reiser's still out there. Our right guard situation is I want them to sign somebody. I've been wanting them to sign somebody. I know you don't think they're going to. I can tell by the way you're looking at me. I'm like, come on, John, tell me something good. Is their offensive line going to be any better? Is just tell me something. What do you got?
Oh man. I just like when Patrick went down with a calf, or I don't even know what the injury was. They don't have to disclose it, but it seemed like it was like a calf or like an ankle. It seemed like that could be something that could sideline him for a little bit. I guess he was back working individuals late this week. It seemed like that was the gateway for them to be like, call anyone, right? Because at this point, even like a healthy Patrick versus a healthy Cody Ford, it's just an unacceptable battle to block for Joe freaking Burrow, especially knowing the history here. Like, I don't know what more evidence that they need to invest some actual resources here, because the only two stable players that they've ever had, not ever had, but that they've had here in the last decade were a first round pick and Kevin Zeitler, and then a pretty moderately expensive free agent in Alex Kappa. They stink at finding value at that spot, and they keep trying to go back into this well, and it never works. But it does seem like Cody Ford has not the inside track; he's got the full-blown lead for that job, and that just doesn't seem optimal in the slightest. So if an injury, even a short-term one, that Lucas Patrick doesn't get them to sign a guard, the only hope, Jeff, and I saw the coach Matt Minnick talk about this the other day. The only hope is a guy like Brandon Scherf, or even a Dalton Reisner, or even Will Hernandez at this point, who again just got cleared. They don't want to go through the monotony of training camp. They don't want to go through the preseason, and they just want to maybe sign at the end of training camp, at the end of after cuts, or maybe after week one where contracts aren't guaranteed or something like that. I don't know. I don't have no idea if there's been any communication on that line. It just seems crazy that this is what they're trotting out there at guard, and that they don't have a contingency plan. But that's the only hope, is that we just got to wait a little bit more until these guys just don't want to get here too early to go through all this practice.
Yeah, I'm like, I keep I'll preface it this way. The reason I'm a little optimistic about that they might sign a guard is my boy Game On knows my cousin's second, third, knows a Bengals brother. His brother plays for the Bengals. Said that they're going to sign Fant, they're going to sign Trey, and there's another move. And I'm hoping the move is an offensive lineman. So that's what gets me hope. I'm hoping so, because why not? Why the hell wouldn't you? If you're going to go out, like, they're so, I won't say easy. They went out and got Noah Fant, which we didn't necessarily need in our tight end. It was awesome. I'm glad they got one, because he'll replace Eric Hall. But we need a right guard. We've needed a right guard. Like, go get these guys. And sure, the thing is, we keep mentioning these guys like Scherf and Reiser. We've been talking about them all year. Nobody else has signed them either. All 32 NFL teams have missed it. That's where we're kind of like, I don't know. But then that's where I kind of flipped to Will Hernandez. I'm like, okay, he's cleared. He's up until this last knee injury. He was healthy throughout his whole career, and he plays right guard. Sounds like pretty much a plug-and-play guy for me. That's where I'm like, hey, Will, come play for the Bengals.
I do think it's like, because when you go through like free agency, right, and everyone's on pins and needles, like waiting for the next move, it's always good to look at the market for certain positions and how like it's just like dead silent, and then all of a sudden like one guy signs and then the other guy signs, right? But that never really happened at the guard spot for some of these guys. So the fact that they are still available, again, like you have to assume that there's been communication to at least one of these guys, and that they just and that it's just like, hey, like I'm just kind of biding my time right now, like I'm weighing my options. Obviously with Scherf, who knows if he even still wants to play at this point. So I wouldn't put it past them if there was some type of like on the low type of situation where like a certain day comes around and say, hey, like we're gonna check back here, because like with Noah Fant, even if they didn't need him, like that is the exact move that I think a lot of people have waited the Bengals to make, because it was improving on a position that wasn't necessarily a weakness, but you're strengthening it, and now you feel more comfortable about it. Obviously, you can't say that about a guard, because it's not a strength in the slightest. It's something that a necessity. But with Noah Fant, it's like like that's the type of forward thinking that you want, and it should be even more obvious with this position. Right.
That's not like you did it to this position. Why wouldn't you do it at this one? That's another reason. That's the thing. I'm like, okay, you added to the tight end room that we would have been okay without it, but you added to it. Like I'm not saying we're okay at guard. We might be, but you got a rookie and you got Cody Ford probably. I mean, I've said that when they signed Cody Ford, I said he might be our right guard. And the thing is, it's nothing against. Well, Cody Ford, I want to upgrade for Cody Ford. Cody Ford, I think, is better for this team if he's your backup. He's your backup guard,
100%.
your backup. So he proved he can do that, and he do it very well last year. Trying to put him out there, for 17 games, it might not be go as good. If you got a guy like Will Hernandez, been there, done that, plug and play guy, for 8, 10, however many years he's been in the league. That's the kind of guy you'd want to go and get for the exact same reason we just said of why they signed Noah Fant. It's like you didn't necessarily need to go get Noah Fant. Well, you really need to go get a right guard. So why wouldn't you call one of these guys? That's where when I hear this from Game On, I'm kind of like, okay, well that makes sense. And another thing that I'll give Game On money credit for this too. He said that you don't know what kind of shape Scherf or Reisner are in because we're not sure if they actually want to play because they haven't been, in camp. Will Hernandez wants to play. He had to get in physical shape to get cleared by the NFL. So he is in shape. He's a right guard. To me, I'm like, that's the guy to go for. That's just me. And I'm giving the Game On the credit for saying that because he's the one who told me that this morning. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Let me get this $5 super chat from Fuzzy Ball here before you answer that here. Sorry. Bold prediction: the Bengals linebackers will be the most improved position group in the entire NFL. Let's get to what you were going to say about the offensive line. Then don't go to that. I should have let you answer first. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, just real quick. Honestly, an even bigger concern for me is what they feel about Matt Lee, because he's obviously a very popular name within the fan base. There's a certain part of the fan base who really liked him coming out of the draft. I really liked him coming out of the draft.
The Bengals
obviously, when you're 7th round pick, you don't have a lot of job security, but there seems to be a lot of internal hype about Seth McLaughlin, which great. Like he was also a guy who was he wasn't underdrafted. He was undrafted at all, but he probably should have been drafted if he was healthy. And I think that's fine. If he gets back and healthy, I think he has a really good shot of beating out Matt Lee for the center spot. If that's the case where he gets enough reps, and Matt Lee could probably be the team's best right guard. And if they were to cut him, or it's a confirmation bias, but like they just don't know what they're doing at these spots. But that's just kind of what's going through my mind, because Matt Lee should make this team. He could probably make this team better. And if you find an upgrade at center, like that's fine, but like see what he can do at guard.
Right.
If they don't give him a shot there, that's just inexplicable.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think Matt Lee's also been dinged up a lot too. So that's one of the reasons he hasn't been. I don't know if he was out there yesterday. Yesterday they were inside the bubble. So that is one that I've said that too. To give him a shot at right guard, because he did have time out there on the field last year as the extra lineman last year. So I mean that's not guard, but at least he did that other than center. So he has the ability to
even
do
tougher.
That.
He's a tight end out there. He's blocking in space. That's something I'd never expected him to do at all. But he did it well. So that bodes well for him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why that's a good one. Which again, we're only a little over a week into training camp. Maybe they do that. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But let's get to Fuzzy Balls is here. His prediction of the linebackers being the most improved group in the entire NFL. I think it could be the most improved group on our team for sure. I really am liking Knight. I love what he's done. I think Logan Wilson is going to have a bounce back here. He looks healthy. I think these guys are be flying around the ball. What's your thoughts on the linebacking core?
I kind of like it. I kind of like the bold prediction here. Again, I'm sure there's an obvious answer that I'm blanking on at the moment because I really focused in on this team. But I think it was just unfortunate of how rapid Jermaine Pratt's decline was. And that's just what this is going to be based off of. So Demetrius Knight being younger, a lot faster, but a lot more in tune with what they're doing defensively. I think that's going to be a major upgrade. And I mean, it needs to be a considerably improved unit considering all the resources that they put into it. A lot more resources here compared to like defensive tackle, which needed some TLC too. But obviously the addition of TJ Sladen, it makes their job a lot easier, stopping the run and just filling those gaps and reading their fits. So yeah, Knight looks very promising. I like getting Barrett Carter on the field in certain packages too, because he can provide value. And Oren Burks has played in one of the Super Bowl, has played in some of these big games. So as a direct replacement to Akeem Davis-Gaither, I would say this group is considerably improved, and I would say up there with one of the best, most improved units in the league for sure.
And again, we go with they knew they had to improve that. They wouldn't have improved it, so why won't they improve their offensive line? I don't know. Vanguard here. Ice, what happens if Orlando Brown and Mims get nicked up? Sounds like a huge drop in tackles. Yeah, you got well, it depends if Cody Ford is your backup, then he could kick out there. If not, it's Rivers or oh crap, who's the other? I know Dale just put it up there. Yeah, Cochran, which I'm not a huge fan of that either. Yeah, it's not good. and the thing is, Mims, they're not. He didn't say. They said he's dealing with some stuff. I know he missed practice Thursday. I think I don't remember, or was that Friday? I can't. These days running together. I know he missed practice one day, and he was just dealing with some stuff. And one concern I've had is the left side of the offensive line has been crumbling, and that's Orlando Brown. Maybe he's just getting off to a slower start. I don't know, but that kind of concerns me too, from what I've heard.
Yeah, Jalen Rivers, I think, is being trained to be this swing tackle now, and that was evident when Mims went out initially late Wednesday. He was like off the field for like the final, like 11-on-11 drills, and Rivers came in for him. I think it was after Cochran first, because Cochran's been the backup right tackle, Rivers has been the backup left tackle, but the Rivers repped backup, or he was the starting right tackle when Mims is out all of Thursday. So if Rivers wants to be active on game days, he's going to have to be able to fill into both spots. And I really like Jalen Rivers. I really liked what he did in Miami. Fortunately for him, he's never played on the right side before. So he's going trial by fire there at a completely new position. We talked with Orlando Brown Jr. a couple years ago because he has so much experience playing both sides. And it's like being a boxer, only instead of, in one stance, you got to switch up the stance. And it's tough, especially for a rookie in his first training camp. So there's going to be growing pains with Jalen Rivers. But if he does have to play, meaningful snaps sometime late this year, I'm relatively comfortable with him because I think he plays the game in a very calm and poised manner, and he's athletic enough to get out in space and whatnot. I know a lot of people have been wanting him to be a guard, but I think right now it's just good to keep him at tackle, keep him where he's somewhat comfortable with, and I think they're training him to be that swing tackle, and I would say he's better than Cochran in that regard.
Absolutely. My boy Dale Altman, we got the superstar in here from Bengals and Brews, and by the way, get the Project Game Day draft guide from Dale Altman. That's a good read. He's pretty good at what he does. But Lee 100% should be getting a shot at right guard if healthy, and left guard, even though we all believe Fairchild is a piece. Okay, we kind of glossed over Fairchild. What is your thoughts on Fairchild? I mean, I keep going back to the video of wrestling. That's because that's really the one, because his feet were quick, dude. That was impressed the hell out of me, how quick his feet was. Now I go back to what they say the left side of the offensive line is crumbling. That's where Fairchild is. What's your thoughts on Fairchild?
Yeah, I think the more that I learned about him in the draft process, the more I liked. He was someone that I think if he had went back to Georgia and played another healthy year, it's probably not leaving the second round at that point, or your 3-year starter at a big school. And I think he was in line to take another jump. There was still there was still more for him to do, though. I think his hands are probably the biggest thing that needs adjusting now, because you're right. Like, athletes like that who are quick on their feet, who can create space and get out of their stance with the raw power in his core that he has, and that's extremely evident. Like, that is typically a really good basis. Like, people have been talking about like Shamar, like obviously a guy with length and size and power. You typically have a pretty good baseline to be like at least an average player. Like, that's how I kind of see Fairchild as a guard who is still on the younger side and still, I think, needs to learn the process about where to land his punches, his landmarks, and everything like that. And I think there's going to be some defensive tackles that take advantage of that, especially when they're quick off the snap, and that may get him into trouble. But if someone tries to bull rush him, I'm very confident that he can at least handle that. And that wasn't the case for some of these guards for the Bengals in recent years. So there's an immediate upgrade there. It just may be some growing pains in the beginning until he kind of learns to slow down and knows what to do with his hands.
Do you think he'll be able to handle a stunt? Because we couldn't handle stunts last year for save our life.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
We'll find out here. All right, Taylor Stout here. I'll just never understand at least trying out someone like Lee, especially in preseason or whenever. You don't know what you got until you try. Seems simple. You're preaching to the choir there, Taylor. I agree with you. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, because especially since Patrick has been hurt. Did I say his name right? That's who it is. Yeah. Okay. I have had the worst time remembering that guy's name. So that doesn't bode well for him being the left guard. I can't remember his damn name for save my life. But he's been hurt. He was hurt in minicamp. He's been hurt in training camp. So I'm kind of like, put Lee out there. Do something. I'm like, It's
That's
frustrating.
kind of I like. I mean, he's the oldest player on the team. I think. He's 32, going on 30. He might be a little bit younger than Karras. I might be
Yeah.
mistaken there, but yeah, he's dealt with injuries in the past. He's rarely played like a full 17 game schedule, which is like, okay, you're playing at right guard is two guys who you probably wouldn't count on to start the entire 17 games. So you're already like, flirting with disaster here. It's another
Right.
reason why I think a guy like Scherf or maybe even Reisner wouldn't want to go through the entirety of the offseason program in order for them to stay healthy
Right.
and be of value when their time is called upon. So yeah, like, and I would say for that question, like, if you don't understand why this doesn't happen, mind you, Matt Lee wasn't the backup center until like the end of preseason because you gave him reps and then he showed that he was better than Trey Hill. And that's just the nature of the next 3 weeks. The cream will rise to the top essentially when you put it on tape. And if he gets his shot and if they find out, who is the real deal right guard based off those reps, typically they end up making the right decision. They made the right decision years ago when they had Trey Hopkins start over Billy Price. So
Yep.
it's all about getting these guys reps when it matters. And typically you will find the difference in the tape.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, like you said, these veteran guys, they might not want to come into camp and go through all this stuff, like you said, to keep themselves healthy. So maybe the Bengals are playing the long game and just waiting. I mean, I don't know. That's where I keep going back to this. I can't see the Bengals not taking the same stance they took at tight end, not doing that at guard. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to do that at that position, why wouldn't you do it at probably an even more important position, the guy protecting your franchise, Jackpot Joey? You might want to have some good guys out there. So we'll see what happens. There was Vanguard here. It says sounds like we have too many centers. You never have too many centers. You never have too many offensive linemen, period.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this other thing I'll put out too is if they do say Lee wins the right guard, or they do sign one of these three guys to be the right guard, then your depth is really, really good there. If you got Patrick and you got Cody Ford in there, because Patrick can play guard and center, Code can play guard and tackle, and then you got Rivers who can play tackle and guard. So I mean that right there would boost your depth right there, and it probably might be the best depth the offensive line has ever had as far as Joe Burrow goes, if you do that.
Yeah, like, it's unfortunate because I think everyone appreciates the player that Cody Ford is when he's in the role that fits him.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, if you need him to play 15 snaps in an emergency situation, he can handle that job. It's just one of those things where when all of a sudden the team looks at him as more than that, it's like, okay, let's slow your horses here, buddy. He's not that guy. He is a guy, and he deserves a job. He deserves a spot on an NFL roster. But unfortunately, they lock in on some of these guys, and then they view them as something more than who they are because they just love to try to find value here, and it just never ends up working out for them. Exactly.
All right, let's go to my boy Dale here, and we'll talk the fifth wide receiver here. Dale said this on here, and I'm kind of agreeing with him. Isaiah Williams might be have a really good shot of knocking out Chuck Sizzle, especially if Burton is going to be your return specialist. What's your thoughts on Isaiah Williams making this 53?
Yeah, if they go 6 receivers, I would assume that Williams is going to be that 6. He's had a good camp. I think.
You think they'll go 6? You think they'll go 6?
That's the question, right? Because you have Noah Fant now at tight end.
Right.
Gesicki is essentially a receiver. Hudson is essentially a receiver. So I really don't know. Like, I really kind of thought that Hudson would be cut for Fant, not just because they share their number and now Fant has to be 86, but
the train camp ain't over yet.
That's true. If they go 5 tight ends, including Gesicki, then it's probably tough to go 6 receivers at that point because again, Gesicki's doing everything that this big slot is doing. So
right.
Like, how many tight ends they keep is probably going to impact if Isaiah Williams does make the roster. And the good thing about these receivers is that your 3 non-starters all have, like you said, special teams value. Chuck is the punt returner. Jermaine Burton is the kickoff returner. And Isaiah Williams is a pretty good kickoff returner as well. So I think there's going to be a competition, potentially a kickoff returner in the preseason. And kind of like it was, like 10 years ago now with Brandon Tate and Alex Erickson, and Erickson ended up winning that battle. So that could determine how they kind of fill out the bottom of that roster.
Bengal Rick here is dying to find out about you and the puppets. Are you guys still talking? You guys and the puppets still?
We did a show yesterday. Yeah, so check that out.
They are back. I thought they were on hiatus for a while.
Their schedule is not good. So
well, they're puppets. They're very popular.
yeah.
Michael Mann here, and it's another guy we've talked about or on here. Kirkland. They did re-sign him. He's another option at guard. I don't know. What I honestly don't remember seeing him do much of anything. What's your thoughts on Kirkland?
I mean, he got injured last year. It was like one of his first games that he played, and he was out for the season. He was out for the entire 2023 season as well. So he's dealt with a lot. He just is essentially a cheaper Cordell Volson. He plays really tall. He's got some power to him, but I wouldn't trust him pass blocking 40 snaps in the game.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's just another body they throw out there. All right, so it's Friday. We're doing a fun football Friday topic, but it's not football related. Have you seen Happy Gilmore 2?
I have not. I haven't heard great things.
All right, so okay. So my boy Joe Danneman at Fox 19 just hurt my heart when he said he quoted the Billy Madison thing. The statement that we're all dumber for hearing this. He said we're all dumber for watching this show. He did not like he did not like Happy Gilmore 2. I freaking loved it. I recommend you watching it. And I'd like when we get off here, just go watch it because first of all, were you a Happy Gilmore fan back in the day?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I'm a golfer, so I loved Happy Gilmore. And like you I mean, I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed reviews about it. I would not go into it expecting to be trying to replicate the magic of not only Happy Gilmore, but just any Adam Sandler movie from the 90s. Like that time is gone. It's impossible. It's impossible to recreate that. So I would imagine it was just like, it's kind of its own thing where they were trying to be all nostalgic and everything like that. So I would go into it with that certain point of view, and maybe, Joe didn't, and he tried to, do something else.
Man, Taylor Stout, you crushed me. Some funny one-liners, great cameos, but awful movie. Oh my goodness. Come on now. Bite your tongue.
What did you like about it then?
I like the story. All right. So I don't want to ruin it for you so you haven't seen it. Yeah, but how can I say this without ruining it for you? I like the story of
if
how
you like the story elements. Like
the story elements, the way, how he had to come back and what he dealt with, and then his kids are in it. They crack me up. John Daly is funny as hell. The whole thing of them going against it was the maxi golf instead of the live golf. So it kind of, it was it was kind of the same storyline as Happy Gilmore of, an up and coming, but he's not up and coming. He was one of the greatest golfers of the 90s back, for the storyline. So I can't say too much more because I don't want to ruin the story for you, but I thought it made sense, to be honest. I mean, because they could have went so many other ways and made this completely stupid and made absolutely no sense whatsoever. To me, it made sense. To me, I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. The only other Adam Sandler movie I want to see a sequel to, which I think would be awesome, would be The Wedding Singer. But you do it in the 90s because Wedding Singer came out in the 90s and it was from the 80s. So now you come out now and you go back in the 90s and where he's, who knows, maybe he's down on his luck and he's still a wedding singer. And I don't know. That's the next one I like to see. Dale here. If you didn't like the original Happy Gilmore, you won't like Happy Gilmore 2. And exactly what John said. It isn't going to win an Oscar. That isn't a Sandler movie. Exactly. It's a Sandler movie. I mean, you're going into it. It's a Sandler movie. It is what it is. If you like Sandler movies, you're going to like it. If you don't, you don't.
I will say that, I mean, Uncut Gems was quite a trip with Sandler, and it was unlike any Sandler movie I've ever seen. And that
one I have not seen. I still have to watch that one. I have not watched
that. Is like a 2-ish hour anxiety attack. It is quite the experience.
I saw what's the one he did where he's the basketball scout in the Queen Latifah's?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it.
That one was actually pretty good too. That wasn't a comedy either. That one, I actually enjoyed that one. Michael Mann says, "Grow Up 3." Is that going to be a real thing? I've seen people do mock-ups of it. I don't know if it's actually going to be a Grown Ups 3 or not. I wasn't a big fan of Grown Ups 2. I love Grown Ups the first one. I wasn't a big fan of Grown Ups 2.
That had to be somewhere it's like, oh, like we just got all these big name actors together and just go on summer vacation, and it sold really well. And like, oh, I guess we could do it again. And it just wasn't going to be the same. Click though. I was 10 years old when that came out, and I was not ready to be emotionally destroyed like that as a 4th grader. So
dude, Click is good. Click
is
will pull your heartstrings. That Click is good. I like that. You made me feel old. You were 8 then. Jeez, I keep forgetting You're already 10. You're around my son's age. Jesus. Taylor, I haven't seen this one. 8 Crazy Nights is underrated. That one I haven't seen. Now, Big Daddy, yes. I love Big Daddy. That's a good one, too. Let's see. Pork Chop Sandler. Sandler movies ain't what they used to be. Dude should have went out on top. Chop. So I guess Chop doesn't like.
Who does go out on top?
Nobody. Well, he's got all his movies. All his movies he releases now are all on Netflix. He doesn't release anything.
That's just what it is. Like Eddie Murphy's got a movie on Amazon. Like it's just is what it is. These guys are just chasing a bag. You know,
hey,
it is what it is.
Well, I like Beverly Hills Cop 4 or whatever the if you watch that one. I hated Beverly Hills Cop 3, but the last one I thought it was pretty good. I like that one. You know, I'm old, man. I like these old movies. I mean, dude, one of my favorite movies is The Breakfast Club. I freaking love that movie. 1985. I was 10. Great. And you got Goonies. I wanted Goonies too. I think that'd be good. But we'll see. Anyway, John, I appreciate you coming on, dude. Plug some stuff. I know you got an article out there from A to Z. Tell me where they can find your stuff at.
Yeah, A to Z sports.com got a little bit of a makeover this past week. So feel free to any feedback on what it looks like, because I think we're still kind of tweaking with it. But you can check out my articles there and post 3 YouTube videos a week on the A to Z Sports Cincinnati YouTube channel. And like you said at the top of the show, still doing the Orange and Black Insider Bengals podcast on the Believe Podcast Network 1 or 2 times a week. So check us out there.
There you go, man. John, I appreciate you. And tell the Godfather I said hi.
I will. Thanks, Jeff.
See you, dude. Later. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. John and AC do a great job on the Orange and Black Insider podcast. John, go read his articles. He does a great job too. Pork Chop, what do you got here? They are running out of all. Trust me, they are. We went and saw Superman this week. Okay, so I grew up with Christopher Reeves as Superman. So 1978 was the first Superman movie. That's my Superman movies. It wasn't bad, but I felt like the start of the movie, I'm like catching in the middle of a movie. Like, was there a prequel to this that I don't know about? Because it just started right off the bat, and you really had to catch up and figure out what the hell is going on and who's what, and the movie's just taking off on you. So that was my kind of criticism with it. I liked the movie. I thought it was cool. But my point to this is we went and got there early, and you watch previews. I don't know. They did 7, 8, 9 movie previews because, it's like 20 minutes of previews and commercials before the actual movie comes on. There wasn't one single movie that they put on the preview that I want to watch. There's normally 4 or 5 movies going, oh, man, I want to see that. Oh, I can't wait till that comes out. Oh, that one looks really good. All these are going, what the hell is this? That one sucked. I ain't going to see that one. The next one comes on. Yeah, that's a no. This one's got to be good. Well, nope, that one sucks too. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yes, Chop, I agree. They're running out of ideas for movies. It is crazy. We need a second Waterboy. How would you do a second Waterboy, William? I don't know about that. There's some movies don't need sequel. Waterboy doesn't need a sequel. What is here too would make sense. You could roll it on to the future, to the 90s, of how their life went. That you could. Waterboy, yeah. I don't know how you make a sequel of that. I love Waterboy though. I'm not sure. Taylor, I was just happy Top Gun 2 didn't flop. Oh, dude. The first one's still better. Top Gun, one of my favorite movies. Top Gun Maverick was freaking awesome. Taylor, I'm with you. I'm so happy that movie was good because I'm like, man, I've been waiting since 1986 for this thing to come back out. I cannot wait. Yes, Michael Madden, first 2 nights of SummerSlam this weekend. I'm probably gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch it live because, like I said, tomorrow I'll be at my family reunion. So Sunday night I could probably watch it. Either way, the thing is now, like when I was a kid, if you didn't watch it on pay-per-view, you wouldn't be able to watch it, or you had to wait till it came out on VHS tape. Now it's on Peacock. I don't watch it live. I can watch it tomorrow. I am actually in the middle of watching, what is it, Unreal? It's the behind-the-scenes look of WWE. And I started watching the first episode. I have it on pause right over there on my TV. When I get out of here, I'm gonna go finish watching that. I've been waiting for this because I have always been a wrestling geek. Once I got older and realized, scripted and yada yada, which it's scripted. The stuff they do is still athletic and it still freaking hurts. I've always wanted to know the storylines, how they put it all together, what makes them, go this way, the storyline, then the crowd changes. Like, all right, we're going to swerve like this way. This is what's going to be cool. I'm really interested to see this. I know my boy Tony Pike does not like this. He's not a big wrestling fan, but he doesn't like that they're pulling the curtain away. Did I really pull the curtain away? We already knew this stuff, that we knew they're friends. We know this stuff. So I'm really interested to watch it. I can't wait to see it. I hope you guys do too. Stranger, what'd you say here? I said we're officially out of ideas when Pride and Prejustice and Zombies came out. There you go. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all of those long Instagram threads and TikTok. I will be pulling a sound of it later on tonight. Put it on the podcast. It's on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Do me a favor. First of all, go listen to it. And then when you do, rate, like, and review, leave a 5-star review and a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Shout out to my sponsors. They are as followed: Priority Lawn and Landscaping, proud sponsor of the Sports Strawberry Ice Show. You can give a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114 for all your lawn and landscaping needs. That's Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And, of course, Meyer Windows and Doors. Their website is MeyerCincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got it on my house. They're wide open right now. Get a nice cool breeze in here because it's actually cooled off in Cincinnati. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Again, Meyer Window Door and Doors and more. And, of course, my favorite brewery, Moorline and Lager House. They're right down there on the banks. If you're going to go to the Reds game, well, not this weekend, but maybe next weekend or next week when they come back in town, get you a burger and a beer at Moorline Lager House. Walk across the street to GABP and watch the Reds hopefully win. Moorline Lager House. We will be doing our tailgates there again. The first home game will be 3 hours before every single game. We are going to be doing road tailgates, which means a watch party. You go on down there and hang out, drink some delicious beer, eat some delicious food, watch the Bengals win on their Super Bowl run. Moorline Lager House. It's a great place. Go check them out. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. What is this? Sorry. Oh, Jelly Roll match. Jelly Roll match shoe list. We're talking about SummerSlam here. And funny when Bronson stole Roman shoes. Exactly. It's all wrestling stuff. You guys haven't been paying attention. Other than that, remember one thing and one thing only. That is Houday for life. Throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya! Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.